So I have a type of time myopia, right? Wherein I kind of lose a sense of time. I don't sense time in the same way that other people do. It's something that I've noticed. It's something that I feel like it is true. I don't think I'd just be trying to convince myself of it. Um, but I'm not fully diagnosed as having ADHD or anything like that. But today we got time. I can't be diagnosed because I don't have a doctor and I don't have insurance and I want to go pay and it's like, stupid, I'm not doing all that. But that's neither here nor there. How are you guys doing today? Hopefully you guys have an amazing day. Hopefully you guys are ready to learn something new. Time, the history, and the future of everything. We're continuing the in a nutshell, right? We got a little like marathon we got going on here, just continuous videos back to back, because this is good stuff, man. I mean, I was just wondering before this, it's like, what am I trying to give a viewer? What am I trying to do for the viewer? It's like, this is educational content, but it's also very entertaining. Just in it's the graphics and the visuals and all this stuff like that. And it's pleasant to the eyes. It's like, I fuck with it. I like this. I would be watching this for fun. But it's like, I'm willing, like, I don't mind actually putting my type 2, whatever the fuck you call it, like focus on, right? Because it's like, this is fun, this is nice, I like this. And I also think about the viewer and it's like, let me shut up, because what am I trying to give to you guys? It's like, it's supposed to be like you're watching this together and you're not watching it alone, you're with somebody. You can get my opinions on stuff, because it's nothing too shocking in these types of videos for a reaction, which is why most of the time people who react to stuff like this are like professionals who can give in their own input. I'm not necessarily a professional in any of this, but I'll still give my 2 cents for whatever that might be worth, right? I'll pitch in, don't you worry. I'm not just gonna stay quiet the whole video, which some people might prefer, because I'm talking too much. Let's go. I clicked the wrong button.
Time makes sense in small pieces. But when you look at huge stretches of time, it's almost impossible to wrap your head around things.
Convenient.
So let's start small, with minutes, hours, days. You probably spent the last 24 hours mostly sleeping and working, and you probably wasted a good chunk of yesterday on the internet.
I did.
Days become weeks, weeks become months, and then we have a year.
Faster than
Let's
you
look
can
at
imagine.
2017.
My God.
France started to train eagles to hunt terrorist drones. A Czech nuclear power plant held a bikini contest to pick their new intern, and people on the internet made a challenge out of...
Is that true? Atomic bikini? Why have I not heard about this? Why had I not heard? What? What did I click? What the fuck did I click? Hell no. Hell no. Okay.
eating bleach. You know, the usual stuff. Let's go back further. A kid born in the first year of the 21st century is 18 years old now. But the century is still young, even if you're not. It was largely shaped by the attacks on 9/11, which led to the war.
Hold on. I'm still not over the atomic
Years old now. But the century is still young, even if you're not. It was largely shaped by the attacks on 9/11, which led to the war in Afghanistan and the invasion of Iraq. In March 2011, the Syrian civil war began and is still ongoing after 7 years. Most of us were born in the 20th century, which had the two most devastating wars in human history and the Cold War. For the first time ever,
That ended, right? God damn.
we could destroy
My geopolitical knowledge is fucked up right now because I have not caught up on that in a little bit. That the Syrian war is over, right? Right.
ourselves with nuclear weapons, and we almost did, but we also had a space race and left Earth for the first time. The internet was also invented, which led to memes, but also to Facebook and Twitter, so all in all, we're not sure if this was a good development. The average human lives about 79 years, which covers a good chunk of recent history. The oldest living person on Earth is currently Celino Jaramillo, who was born in 1896, which
Damn.
means that his birth was closer to Napoleon ruling Europe than to the current day.
That's crazy.
Only 250 years ago, the Industrial Revolution turned the world into a progress machine. Farmers became workers, and knowledge became easier to distribute. Around this time, we started the progress that is causing climate change today. not that long ago actually. The theory of evolution changed how...
That's like that is the metric that we give towards the scientific revolution, right? I read that in *Sapiens*. It's like we're gonna classify the scientific revolution as somewhat starting around 500 years ago, right? That's when stuff sort of, we can pinpoint a point in where we started to be more scientifically oriented, and it's like, voila, here I am in 2022 in front of this beautiful monitor using a computer. It's like so much goes on in the world, and you just get spat out to learn about all of the shit that happened while you were not aware.
How we saw ourselves and the world we live in. Newton wrote down his theory of gravity. We discovered distant stars and very close bacteria. The 15th century was very eventful. Columbus's discovery of America and the fall of Constantinople marked the end of the Middle Ages. War was all the rage in the Middle Ages, but the number one killer was disease. The Black Plague killed every third European in just 6 years. Around 2,000 years ago, we set the arbitrary year 1 of our calendar that most of the world follows today. But to a Roman, the world was already ancient. The Great Pyramids were constructed 4,500 years ago. So, to a Roman, the pyramids were older than the Romans are to us today. So long ago that there were still living mammoths on Earth.
That's crazy.
A lot of history happened before that even. Around 7,000 years ago, humans began writing things down. About 12,000 years ago, human organization exploded. We built our first temple, and around the world mankind began farming, which enabled the rise of larger communities.
So for 7,000, for 3,000 years. 3,000 years, you just didn't document anything? Nobody cared to... I mean, they might have made, like, cave drawings, little cave carvings. Nobody wanted to write? Nobody? For 3,000 years, nobody wanted to write? That seems kind of crazy. You almost think writing is sort of a no-brainer to humans, right?
Our dominance over planet Earth really begins here. Homo sapiens sapiens, the modern human, evolved at least 200,000 years ago. 50,000 years ago, the cognitive revolution expanded our minds and innovation. Back then, we shared Earth with at least 5 other human species that either died out or were killed by us.
Or we interbred with them. From Sapiens.
At least 2 million years ago, our ancestors already had control over fire and constructed tools from wood and stone. And 6 million years ago, the last common ancestors of chimpanzees and humans existed. So this graph is all of human history. Our close relative Homo erectus survived 10 times longer than we have existed.
God damn, Homo erectus. Why the fuck is their name Homo erectus? That is so gay. That is just such a... That name is so wrong. Who the fuck named it Homo erectus? Who the fuck? I just realized I've heard that so many times, and just now has it peaked to me. Just now has it really hit me how stupid that fucking name is. I want to say, oh, gay. I'm not saying gay is a bad thing. Of course, I support my gay people. But it's like, it's just, why the fuck is her name Homo erectus? I'm sorry. I can't be the only one that's wondering. Why the fuck would you name it Homo erectus? They live longer than us, though. We gotta put respect on their name.
This tiny part is the human era. We have to zoom in a lot to even see your lifetime.
Oh, man.
Still, all of human history is not that long. 65 million years ago, the age of the dinosaurs ended in an enormous explosion. The dinosaurs ruled the Earth for over 165 million years, 27 times as long as all humans. That's so long that it means a T-Rex that lived 65 million years ago is closer to us today than to a live Stegosaurus. Dinosaurs in the form of mighty chickens are still around today. Animal life on this planet started 600 million years ago.
Tasty as fuck, too.
The earliest animals were fish and other small, simple sea creatures. Then came insects, then reptiles.
Wait, what?
Animals were on this planet started 600 still around today. Animal life on this planet started 600 million years ago. The earliest animals were fish and other small, simple sea creatures. Then came insects, then reptiles, and finally, around 200 million years ago, mammals joined the party. Life itself began much further back. There is evidence that it appeared up to 4.1 billion years ago.
That's a lot of
For at least 3.5 billion years, life consisted only of single-celled organisms.
You consider that life?
4.5 billion years ago, the Sun was born from a gigantic imploding gas cloud. 60 million years later, Earth formed. In those early years, frequent bombardment by comets and asteroids supplied the Earth with large oceans. But as far as the whole universe goes, our solar system is pretty new. 13.75 billion years ago, the universe was born, and about 500 million years later, our own galaxy formed from billions of stars. But what
What? Galaxy born 500 million later? Dang, the galaxy is old.
came before the Big Bang? The truth is, we don't know, and maybe.
The thing is, nothing came before the Big Bang. That's the truth. You want your fucking answer. There you go. Nothing can come before the Big Bang. Nothing. Nothing can come before the Big Bang. There's a fundamental problem with the way that you describe the Big Bang, which is what causes people to question it. I questioned it too. I told my physics teacher, Mr. Jackson, I thought it was a half-assed theory. But that's because you think about it in relation to the limits of reason and the limits of logic and the limits of how you perceive and the framework and the paradigms that you have about even even creating a model of anything in the universe. You think it has to come from something. You think something has to have created it. It's like, the way that you describe yourself with language and linguistics, the way that you describe yourself in the world is as a subject acting upon an object, or something acting on something else, causing something. It's a cause and effect type of thing. So you think something must have caused the Big Bang, you think something must have created it, you think something, right? And that's obviously how you're going to think when you have a monkey brain that's only built for survival and to save energy, not use up too much cognitive resources, and to simplify things and categorize things in a way that is understandable to our monkey brains. Of course you're going to think something has to have created it. But likelihood is nothing really created the Big Bang. It's just the happening. It's the beginning of the play. It's the beginning of the movie. It's the beginning. It's creation itself. It's just experience, life. It's just the universe. Just being, it might have been spat out. It might be we got hit into a black hole and there's multiple dimensions, universes, whatever, or maybe we are in a black hole right now. There's theories, but there's no thing that created it, because no matter what theory you might have, you're always going to get to a point further and further and further and further and further and further back, wherein you're going to question, okay, well, what created that? And if you keep asking that, you'll never get an answer. Never. It's like the most likely answer that we have. It just spawned. It's literally it. It just created itself with no reason. It just did. It just happened. And it's unlike anything that we have here on Earth. It's unlike anything that we've ever come to comprehend or to understand. It just happened. That's it. And I know some people might not be happy with that answer, but that's just the answer. And you're going to obviously want to resist it, and you're going to want to say, no, that can't be that. It has to be this. It must be this. It's like, I don't know what to tell you. It's just the answer. It just created itself. It's like even calling it creating itself is probably wrong. It's like it just happened, it just voila. Like really, that's likely the most
We never will.
thing.
And there you have it, the past. Now let's take a look at what we know about the future. In roughly 1 billion years, the Sun will be so hot that life on Earth becomes impossible. The death of the Sun 4 billion years later marks the end of life in the solar system. If we want to have a chance to survive, we need to have ventured to the stars. And what happens after that?
Have it in a billion years? I'll be sad.
In the next 100 billion years, most of the bigger stars around will die.
Yo, by the way, if y'all in a billion years, 100 billions, there's no way a video like this would last and we've died, right? If the Earth has been blown up, we can't take the systems that are saving this video somewhere in a cloud somewhere. It's like, if it is somewhere out there, can be picked up through a signal. I don't know. If we died, we fucking suck. I'm just saying that right now. Like, y'all couldn't find a way to get out into the stars before this. I mean, if you must be watching this a billion years later, you must have done it. Which, if you have, you're the GOAT. We're goats. We're just that good, man. Like, give yourself a round of applause. But if we haven't, then we fucking suck.
The universe becomes dimmer and dimmer, illuminated only by smaller red and white dwarfs. But they too will eventually burn out, and one day, the last star in the universe will die.
We don't know that
the universe will turn dark. And at some point, even black holes will evaporate and die. When they do, our universe will reach its final stage, heat death. Nothing changes anymore, the universe is dead. Forever.
That's one thing.
Now, you're feeling some pretty weird feelings right now, aren't you? We are too. It's only natural. The good news is, this is all far, far away. The only time that actually matters is now. That cute girl or boy you like, ask them out. Time is precious. Make it count.
Cute boy you like, ask them out. You should. You should.
One of the questions we get asked the most is how we make animated videos. The short answer is with Adobe After Effects and years of training. But if you'd like to get a glimpse, we now have something for you. We made Skillshare tutorials explaining in detail how we animate scenes from our videos.
Damn.
If you aren't already familiar with it,
That seems very complicated.
Skillshare is an online learning community with more than 18,000 classes in things like writing, animation, and video editing. Their premium membership gives you unlimited access to high-quality classes from professionals working in their fields.
Duck Russ. Huh? 2 months.
2 months for only 99 cents. So if you want to learn new things and support Kurzgesagt, give it a try.
$1.
Our older videos in the next 1 or 2 years.
No, that don't seem bad. 5 years. Oh, they're gonna make one in 5 years?
Any videos thinking about redoing a few of our older videos in the next 1 or 2 years? Any with Kurzgesagt, give it a try.
Well, I'm done, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Know what you guys think. I'll see you.